Hello, Libra. This is Carrie at wooingnature.life. What's going on? Hope everything is good with you all. This is your summer reading for 2022. We have just crossed the threshold into summer and into Cancer season, so your Cancerian ways may be in view at this time. Some of you might be thinking more about house and home. You may be thinking about redecorating. You could be thinking about family and connecting with family during the summer months. All of that is fair game when we're talking about Cancer season. So I just want to give thanks to the spirits, God, angels, and his assembly for allowing me to be here to be a vessel of truth and of light to those who are within the cipher or who are connecting to this video at this time. I ask to remove myself so the true spirit can come through for those people falling under the sign, sun sign, moon sign, also rising sign, and anybody who might be Libra dominant in their chart. Oh boy, I think that might be too many. All right, so I will be reading today from the Earthcraft. We've already started shuffling these Earthcraft cards. I like these because they get us in touch with different aspects of nature. Like it just kind of awakens a connection to nature and to the spirit of nature for me. And you know, that's my thing, so I like that. And then after that, I'll be doing a medicine wheel from the Mystical Shaman Oracle. So I'll do a medicine wheel reading for that. And that's just so that we can kind of ground ourselves and get ourselves centered and focused around ourselves and around what's going on with us in nature. So the first card out, Libra, is you are sacred. You are sacred. And the thing is to remember that this vessel that you embody, that you are housed in, that your spirit is housed in, is a sacred space for your soul, for your spirit at this time. Okay? It doesn't mean that your spirit can't travel or astral project or, leave and while you sleep and come back. It does all of that too. But for the sake of your everyday living, you are inside this physical vessel called your body. And so that space then becomes home. And so when we think about Cancer and the season of Cancer, Cancer rules the fourth house, which is about the home. So home could be where your heart is, but the home of your spirit is this physical body. And so that's a way for you to think about your body as the vessel for your soul. And in that way, your vessel is already perfect. It's perfect for the soul that it is in, that it is housing. So we also are getting this card again and again across the zodiac, and that is the ancients and this image of the child. So what I'm getting for you, Libra, is that you should be listening in for the messages that are coming in from the spiritual world, from your ancient ancestors, those that you probably cannot name, and then also from your spirit masters, those ascended masters, as we like to call them, or ascended teachers, or those that we recognize or that you recognize, Libra, as examples of how you want to live and how you the behaviors and the beliefs and the motivations that are behind those that you admire or that you look to for some kind of spiritual guidance. So you should be listening for that. I'm seeing the spirit totem animal of the wolf, which also is coming up in a lot of people's readings. The wolf represents the teacher and is also the teacher of the pack because it is a pack animal. So this isolating and doing everything on your own or something like that is probably not where you're going to receive your best and most teachable lessons. The most teachable lessons are coming in when you are in relationship to someone else, is what I'm getting here with the wolf. Of course, Libra rules the seventh house of planetary relationships and relationships in general. and partnerships. And so this may be a territory for you that you find to be easy. But if you don't find it to be easy, doesn't mean anything. It just means that the lessons are coming differently. Sometimes when people think, sometimes when things are too easy, people don't take the lesson seriously. And then sometimes people don't want to be a part of the lesson or don't want to connect to the wealth of the lesson in something that's difficult. That's why it's important to be neutral and in balance, because you're not judging the experience. The experiences that you're having, both positive and negative, are valuable to you. Okay? And that may be part of the lesson that you're learning as well. I'm also getting this across the board too. The womb card keeps coming up in several people's readings today, because I think we need to be focused on it. And right now we have legislation around the womb that we are paying attention to. So our news outlets here in the United States of America, if that's where you're located, there it will be littered, your Twitter feed and all kinds of, and Facebook and New York Times and CNN. It's all awash with conversation about the most recent decision by the Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade. We have to chronicle that because it's significant in that there's some kind of mile marker here, but we have to really pay attention to what the marker indicates, because if we don't, then we get caught up in the fluff. We get caught up in the politics. We get caught up in the emotional drama. You get caught up in the what you think is happening, as opposed to really understanding that for yourself. So this is very much awakened right now for all of us. But on an individual basis, for those of you who carry a womb, you'll want to take care of your womb, do herbs for your womb, teas, relax, take time out for yourself. The womb is like a metronome for me. I don't know for other people, but the womb can be like a metronome for yourself. And so when things are off, then things in that area in your reproductive tract and your reproductive areas will be off as well. So it may not be necessarily about the second chakra issues. Well, it is about the second chakra. It's about the second chakra issues, okay? The physical issues are emblematic of some other issues that you may need to address. So I want you to take care of your wombs right now, because you're taking care of your womb, because you're taking care of your metronome, you're taking care of your barometer, okay? So when you're off, it's off, and then you can say, oh, it's off, so I'm off. Let me go and see what I got to do, okay? Then we have the sacred temple. This is the temple of, again, goes back to me, to this card about this vessel that you're carrying. And I think this is for a lot of people here. A lot of feminine energy right now during this time, because we are ushering in a time period where there's a lot to take in around the feminine. The feminine energies are very high right now, and that's because we are supposed to be learning from the feminine. We're supposed to be gleaning lessons about the way the feminine moves as opposed to the way the masculine moves. Then you will see all points in between, okay? But there's a way that the feminine moves, and so we're being asked to pay attention to that and to begin to move in that fashion, because guess what? That's the change. That's the shift. That's the shift we're all a part of. And so as things change, we have to adapt and change, and that's what human beings do. We adapt and change just like other animals and other beings on planet Earth. So we have to adapt as well. And what we're adapting to is a feminine movement, not the ERA, not that one, the movement of the energy of the feminine. And so you got to be able to get into the flow, okay? And so to me, Libra, that's what this is. This is what this is indicating. So keep your space, your body space is sacred. That does not mean that, you can't have sex. It just means to remember that your body space is sacred. Okay? People automatically be, oh, well, I got to be celibate. No, that's not what it means. It means understanding your vessel is sacred and then acting as such. You know, what we think sometimes is that because we have these underlying feelings that sex is bad and nasty and something else, then we assume that when we talk about our body being sacred, that we can't have sex. That's your hang up, okay? Try to work on that in the summer. Have yourself a summer festival, right, Michelle? Michelle's my favorite Cancer. Go check her out at Free Life Reality. She makes tea, so go check out Dr. Michelle. So, all right, moving right along. We are going into the Mystical Shaman card deck. Mystical Shaman. I'm going to do a medicine wheel reading for you for this because the medicine wheel gives us a nice overview of what's going on with us spiritually and energetically. It teaches us about the lessons that we're learning right now. It teaches us what has happened in our past that's influencing what's happening now. It shows us what's important right now. What else does it show? It shows you where your wisdom comes from. Okay? Shows you what to look forward to, what you have to look forward to, or what you need to look out for. All of that. All right. So I give thanks to the spirits that have walked this earth before me, and my ancestors, to the animals, plants, bird beings, creeping crawlers, all of those that have inhabited this space ahead of me. And as for their teachers to come through for Libra, those people that fall under the sign of Libra, those that fall under the sign of Libra. Thank you. I got 2 more cards, and that will complete us. And 1 more. There it is. Thank you. All right. So at the center, we have the serpent. This is the serpent. This is the snake. This is a very sacred symbol. Okay. That's why it shows up in a lot of people's religious texts or religious teachings. This one in particular is important because it represents the beginning of one thing and the transformation into another. So we're talking about snakes and molting. When a snake molts, it sheds its skin. So that's what's going on with you right now. You're shedding your skin. And as you're shedding this old skin, this old way, this old kind of, like if you've ever seen a snake molt, you can tell it's getting more comfortable as it's shedding this skin. So you can expect to feel more comfortable with yourself as you're making this transformation. This is something that's going to give you flight. It's going to give you the ability to soar, to get higher, to get above where you are right now. And this is something that's happening in the summer. I'm seeing several different connecting points here. So again, when we talked about those relationships and the importance of that, that's where that comes in. At the south, we have the mystical shaman. So some of you are learning your shamanic ways. You're beginning to touch on the teachings of the shaman. Some of that involves some shadow work. It may, because it's sitting in the south, involve going back to your childhood, looking at childhood dreams, childhood memories, childhood hurts, childhood joys, finding your inner child. Because I feel like that's the shadow work. It's going into the shadow and finding that inner child that could have been lost along the way. And so when you retrieve your own soul, then you can retrieve others. That's what shamanism is all about. You go in and retrieve souls out of the darkness. And so right now, Libra, that's what you're doing for yourself. That's what you're learning. And when you start learning something, it begins with you. It always begins with you. You have had the blessing of community around you. You've had the blessing of people who have had their hands on you, who have touched you, who have guided you, who have pushed you along. who have hugged you, and who are responsible or partially responsible for the transformation that you can now make. It's because of them. It's not just because of yourself. People think they do. People think they invented themselves. No, you would be nothing without community. Every single being that you have been in close proximity to in the last 6 months to a year or more for some of you, because some of you know how long you've been molting, okay? But at least for the past 6 months to a year for some of you, those people who have been around you, who have influenced you, remember I said negative and positive, right? Can't judge it because the lessons come from both. Those are the individuals who are shaping you into this being that is being transformed right now, and you're doing the work. What you're learning about, or what they're trying to teach you about, because this is in the north, is the smoking mirror, and the smoking mirror is refers to being able to have sightedness, to be able to see through to the other side, either the under or the upper world. You also, this is also a process of learning to be a shaman, because you have to be able to look into the smoking mirror and see yourself. Self first, then everybody else. And I know you're anxious, Libra, because y'all want to help everybody and you want to share what you have, but right now you're still molding. You're still getting rid of some of the old. And that's very, very significant for this type of teaching, because you can't go into the shaman's world unequipped. You can't go in there with lies. You can't go in there kidding yourself. You can't go in there with denial. You know, you have to be clear about who you are, and you have to be accepting of such, because you never know what you're going to meet when you go into the darkness. So if you're unsure of yourself in the darkness, it can be a real scary, harrowing place to be. But if you are clear about that, and you have done that level of work and training, then you'll be fully prepared and be nothing. It'll be like, whatever. What are we doing today? All right. So in the East, we have the Tree of Life. Some of you may be studying the Kabbalah. If you're studying the Kabbalah, study the Kabbalah, because that's where information and messages are coming through. For some of you, this represents another individual that you will be connecting with, who may have ties to the Kabbalah and to the Tree of Life teachings. I'm going to put it that way. Again, I'm seeing the transformation coming from this intertwining, from this connecting of roots. It's like your roots and this person's roots are connected. And then when you all connect, then things can blossom, but it speaks to partnership. It's also just the understanding of what the Tree of Life means, and this is a part of it. These are all the teachings. When we talk about the Tree of Life, the Tree of Knowledge, in different traditions, then there's this idea that there is superior knowledge, or that there was knowledge beyond that which we see with our own eyes, that we can tap into as a resource. Some people feel like you shouldn't do it. Some people feel like you should. It doesn't matter. The thing is that that's what the focus is in the East right now. So you may be getting to the bottom of that for yourself, or you and another individual are doing that. Okay? So overall, what I'm seeing is your space, you being sacred, you having sacred, you yourself, understanding yourself, your physical body as a temple, as a housing for your spirit, knowing that your body is home, right? And so you can get comfortable inside yourself, okay? Once you do that, then this work begins, this learning begins, this understanding, this greater understanding, seeing yourself, that kind of thing. And then that's what's going to finish off this process for you, okay? All right, so that is it for you, Libra. Very interesting reading. I'm very interested to see how this is resonating with my Libra folks out there. If you know you're already there or headed in that direction, I would love to hear from you. Please leave your comments down below, just so that I can, keep up with what's going on in the cipher. If you haven't quite gotten there yet, then come back in 2 or 3 months, or toward the middle of the summer, in the summer, and listen to this again and see if it makes sense to you, because for some of you it's coming in the summer. Some of you are already in it because everybody's timing is different. Okay? All right, Libra, if you want to take a deeper dive, you can find me on Facebook at Wooing Nature. You can also reach out to me at info@wooingnature.life. As always, I hope you have a great day. I hope you're having a wonderful summer and going to have a wonderful summer. And I hope you have a fabulous life.